Hey everyone, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. Patriot Picker here. Sorry I haven't been updating you guys on a lot of stuff lately. Been doing a lot of work. Been trying to make some extra money while sales are a little slow still with the summer slowdown and everything. So been doing some DoorDash and stuff like that. So yeah, my sales are picking up though, which is good. But yeah, I'm just trying to make a little bit extra money while things are a little bit slower. So yeah, I haven't been updating and kind of making as many videos as I thought I was going to be, but just because I've been doing DoorDash for like the last week and stuff like that, I enjoy it. It's my first time doing it, like last Friday and stuff, and it was actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty easy for the most part, and I've been doing it at night, and you actually get paid more at night. So I kind of start at like maybe four or so, and then I'll the city I used to live a city 30 minutes away, so I'll travel down there. They have the thrift stores that I like to go to, so I'll kind of go to a few thrift stores for like a couple hours or so. Well, maybe not a couple hours, like maybe an hour and a half. Find some good shoes, and then after I'll do DoorDash and stuff like that. So tonight I made like $72 in like 5 hours. Plus I made an additional like $50 or so with my sales. So actually it was probably a little bit more than that maybe, but yeah. So yeah, just anything helps during this time. So, but anyway, I'm so glad you guys were patient with me during this time. Officially now, I'm going to tell that personal story that happened a week and a half ago. So, I don't know exactly how I'm going to tell it. I'm going to try and tell it exactly in the order of how everything happened. I might forget some things, or I might stumble on my words, and so it's not going to be like the perfect video, but I really want to try to make it as easy as possible to remember, and to kind of, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Explain it in a way that's not too complicated, which I don't think it will. I mean, it's probably nothing like that. So, without further ado, let me get into what happened. All right, so it wasn't last Saturday, but it was the Saturday before, so it was like 2 weeks ago. So my wife and we actually had that night a date night. So that whole night, we have two kids, so they were gonna go stay with her parents for 2 nights. So we decided to, once we dropped them off, we were gonna go get something to eat, possibly go to the mall, Goodwill, and then we're gonna hit up a movie, and then just enjoy the night. So we drop the kids off. We go to a restaurant. We eat for a little bit, and then we went to Goodwill. So we're at Goodwill, and I think we're there for about, I would say we're there for about an hour or so, and so we're thrifting, looking at different things, and so my wife, goes and finds some clothes in the women's department, goes and tries them on, and then I told her that I was going to go to the electronics. So I go to the electronics section, and then she goes and tries on clothes. So I think she's in there trying on clothes for, I would say, like 15-20 minutes or something like that. So I'm over in the electronics section. Then all of a sudden, my wife calls. I hear her from behind. She says my name. I turn around, and then she has this look of concern on her face. And then she just said that, sweetie, I was trying on clothes, and I accidentally left my phone in the dressing room. And I don't see it anywhere. Somebody took it, I think. There was these people that went in right after me. They had a bunch of clothes, and they're gone. They left all of a sudden, and then so I'm just like, oh no, like. So we go over to the dressing room. We go over to the dressing room. We look into the one that she was in. She couldn't find the phone. It didn't fall. So then we go to look at other ones, like right by it and stuff like that. And we're asking people, hey, have you seen a phone? Everyone's saying no. But my wife at this point is really upset. Everything with our kids, pictures, videos, it's all on her phone. And she was really, really afraid that she didn't back it up to iCloud at that time. And she was really, really scared that she literally lost everything. That's kind of like, it was kind of like the equivalent of somebody's house burning down and all they had was pictures. In that moment, that's how she was feeling. And it was just awful. It was terrible. And like I said, I was pretty confident that everything got backed up to iCloud, but in that moment, we just didn't know. And she was just absolutely upset. She was like in tears, like just crying. And so I'm trying to comfort her, but I'm also trying to find her phone. At that point, I think I had went up to the manager at that Goodwill, and I think I had asked her if she could open all the doors for the dressing room. And then so we opened them all up. The phone's not there. The phone wasn't there. We tell them about the situation. At that point, actually, I think I'm mixing everything up here. So I think what happened is that I didn't talk to the manager until after I had checked out our stuff. So my wife and I had stuff that we were going to buy. So my wife was super upset. So she said, I'm going to the car. So I said, okay, I'll be out there in a second. So she goes to the car, and then I check out really quick. So I'm talking to the cashier saying, hey, did anybody turn in a phone? He goes and checks the drawer. Can't find anything. So I go outside, say, hey, nobody's seen anything. I'm going to go back in and see if I could find it. Maybe it fell underneath a rack or something like that. Because at that point, we didn't know. She thinks that it was the people that were right after her that went to the dressing room that possibly took it. Now, at that point, we weren't really sure, but she was pretty positive because they had a lot of stuff that they were going to try it on, and then all of a sudden, they just left quickly out of there. So she stays in the car. I go back in. That's when I talked to the manager, and I said, hey, I think somebody stole my wife's phone. Is there any way we could look at cameras? So the manager said that unfortunately no, she doesn't have access to it, but on Monday I could come in and talk to somebody about looking at camera footage and stuff like that. So I said okay. So the Goodwill, the employees, they were very helpful. They were very trying to help me out as much as possible. I checked the whole Goodwill. I looked under the racks, everything. I couldn't find anything. I asked people outside, said if they seen anything. They didn't see anything. So at that point, it's kind of out of our hands a little bit. So I go to the car, told my wife that I gave Goodwill our number if they find it after hours when they clean to call us, and that I'll talk to somebody on Monday about finding the video. So like I said, my wife was just extremely upset, just not in the best mood, obviously, and just, in her own words, was thinking that a part of her life was stolen from her, in a way. Like I said, we didn't know if everything was backed up, so she was thinking that people just took the phone and stole it and had no care, that all of her memories with our kids and everything and memories was just gone. And so she's just super upset about it. So at that point, we had called her brother and to tell him about the situation about it, because we're thinking that, making sure they're not able to get into the phone, if anything. He said, no, if you have a passcode, they shouldn't be able to. Like Apple, we have Apple phones. He said that Apple phones are actually very, very hard to kind of get into sometimes, I guess he was saying. Or Apple, after we called them saying the FBI had trouble even getting into Apple phones, and that's why her brother likes Apple. So, but anyway, he says that we should call Apple. So we call Apple. We were on the phone with them for like 45 minutes or so. Super helpful. My wife couldn't remember her passwords and stuff like that, so he was able to work with us with that hard situation until we kind of got back home for her laptop. So what he did was, on my phone, he was able to, so the phone was off. The phone was off, so we're thinking, they said if somebody did take your phone, which we were pretty 100% at that point, obviously there was that little chance that we left it maybe at Goodwill and it got lost somewhere, but we're 99% sure that somebody took it. So Apple said that it's off, but if they turn it on, it will send a notification to my phone, and it will say, that's when it will start the Find My iPhone. So we're thinking, okay, great. If somebody does turn it on, we'll be able to figure out where they are, or where the phone is. So I'm trying to remember what happened after that. So we call Apple, talk to them for a little bit, and then I'm trying to remember exactly what happened after that. So hold on. So at that point, I think that we were 30 minutes away from the Goodwill. We went to the Apple store because her brother recommended we go to the Apple store, but they said we need to call Apple support. So we were 30 minutes away. We called Apple. So we headed back to the Goodwill right before they closed. This was about 9 o'clock, right before they closed. So we get to Goodwill, and then all of a sudden, a notification comes up on my phone that says that somebody did turn it on. And this was a great feeling. So we're right inside the Goodwill. So we were confused because we're thinking, okay, so does it only turn on if we're in close proximity, or is it just somebody just turned it on in general? So at that point, I see people coming out of the Goodwill, right? So I go up to them and said, hey, did you guys find a lost phone? And they said, no, I haven't seen anything or anything like that. So, and then we called Apple again, and they said that we asked them, hey, is it based on proximity? Like, do you have to be close by the phone, or is it just somebody just turns it on? And Apple just said, no, it's just somebody just turned it on. So great news for us. Somebody turned it on, and once we get home, we're able to go on to my wife's laptop when she could actually put in the password that she remembers for her laptop, and we could do the Find My iPhone thing. And this is where it gets interesting, because like I said, my wife's super upset, but now she's actually we're actually finding hope, a little bit of hope, thinking, okay, now we're going to know, obviously, where possibly the person turned it on was. So we get home, so we're about another 30 minutes away from the thrift store. So we get home, my wife turns on, figures out the Find My iPhone thing. So she figures out that the person that turned it on, they turned it on in an apartment complex right down the street from the Goodwill. Right behind kind of like where we kind of eat and stuff like that at like Cane's Chicken and stuff like that. So we kind of know where the location is. So it's funny because it's showing a dot, but sadly it's an apartment complex. So it's like the phone was showing in between two numbers. So we couldn't really determine which one it was, but it was either the top one or the bottom one. There was two numbers over here, but we didn't think that that's where it was. So obviously this is good news, but at the same time, it's like, well, crap, now we don't know exactly which number it is. So we determined that, all right, we know where the apartment complex is. We've lived there in that city for 3 years before we moved. So we decided to head back down to the town, which was like 30 minutes away. So we head back down there. My wife got on the phone with the police department and told them the situation, that, hey, somebody stole my phone and that they are at an apartment complex. Can a cop come over and talk to us and see if they can go to the house? And I guess cops actually take stolen phones like very seriously, because like we were thinking that, oh, it's stolen phone, like they have other things, obviously, and bigger things to worry about, but it's actually a very big concern, because with stolen identity and other stuff that goes along with it, so they take it pretty seriously. So they said, get to the city, call us back whenever you're 5 minutes, so when you're 5 minutes away from wherever you want to park. So we park in the Cane's Chicken, call up the police department, say, hey, we're here. They said they could send a cop over within, I don't know, they didn't really give us a time limit. So we're thinking, okay, how long are we going to sit here, kind of thing. So we're sitting there, and I think about 30 minutes later, that's when the cop comes into the Cane's Chicken, and we talk to him. And so at this time, it's about midnight. The cop was talking to us, saying, we're telling him the situation, told him what's going on, that somebody stole the phone, it's in an apartment complex, and we don't know, like, it's between this house or this house. We wish we could have shown him a picture of it, but basically at that point he was saying, look, with it being so late at night, I can't really go door to door looking for the phone, kind of thing, which kind of sadly disappointed us a little bit. We understood, but at the same time, it was kind of frustrating as well, because we're thinking, okay, like, it's right in this building, like right here. Like, we know somebody in this building has it. So we said, can you at least go and knock on one door or something like that? He said, yeah, I could go try and knock on one door. So the cop leaves. We're still sitting in the car. He comes back 20 minutes later saying, hey, I knocked on that door, nobody answered. There was a neighbor outside. We had asked, hey, does anybody live here with you? Because the description that my wife had was two women. One was kind of a younger woman, and one was kind of an older woman. They said, hey, does a woman live there with you? And he said, no, I just live alone. So comes back, told us, look, there's not really much I could do about the door thing. So we're disappointed, we're sad, but at the same time, kind of understand as well, that you can't go door to door, but it just it sucked. It really sucked. So at that point, this is where the story gets interesting, and this is the part of the story where my wife and I were determined to find out where this person was and get the phone back. And so this is where it gets interesting. So after the cop leaves, we wanted to make sure that the cop didn't think that we were going to go to the place. So it's because my wife and I, we were determined to go find the phone. We were going to go there ourselves and figure it out. So we decided to go to Taco Bell, get some food. So we sat there, ate it for like 30 minutes. So we go to the apartment complex ourselves. We were determined to figure out something and try to get the phone back. Obviously, we know that we're not gonna like go banging on people's doors and stuff like that at that point, and just kind of, it's a dangerous world as well. You don't know what people have or what, you know, it's kind of one of those things too. So we wanted to make sure we were safe. It was late. So, but we were determined to go and take care of it ourselves. So we get to the apartment. So we get to the location of where the building is, of where we think the phone is. So I get out of the car. I have my phone with me that's showing, like when you hit the maps and it's showing that little blue dot when you kind of walk like to the location of where you're at. So basically I started walking to where, because she has a screenshot of where the phone was, that blue dot was in the phone. So I'm on maps trying to match it. And then I get to this house that I'm like, all right, I think it's this house right here. But at the same time, the one above it upstairs was also showing kind of the same thing. So we think it's either that one or the one above. But at the same time, it's hard to tell, because I guess they were saying on Find My iPhone, it's like 1,000-foot radius. So that's where it's hard. So this is where also it gets interesting. So like I said, I'm not going to go banging on doors trying to, cause a scene and stuff like that. So I had told my wife, I said, all right, I think we need to make notes and put them on every single door at this apartment complex, and leave it at their door. And so there's eight doors, and so we write down, this is what we said in the note. So if I can remember correctly, so it was funny because we were thinking, okay, do we even have anything to write notes? So actually we did. We had 2 pens. My wife, we used to work at a paint store in Arizona, so she had like these like super red looking like blood color, like painter, I don't even know what they call it, colored chips, not colored chips, but like the actual like color that you could take home with you. So we got 2 pens, bunch of paper, and somehow we have like this tape from like this Cricut machine thing that she used to have like 4 years ago or something like that. I don't know how the adhesive was able to stick still, but it's still stuck. She was able to make 8 pieces of tape. We got 2 pens. We got enough things to make this note. So we start writing. Can't remember exactly what we said, but basically this is kind of the summary of it. We said, we said, I know that somebody in this building stole, no, actually, hold on. I think it was, we said, I know somebody in this building stole my phone at the Goodwill on whatever road we were on at about 5 o'clock. And then we said, I'm trying to remember what all we said. We said you have until 2 p.m. tomorrow to return it to the Goodwill. And if you return it, no cops, no questions, we'll forget about this whole thing. We said if you do not return it by 2 p.m., the cops will be involved and you will be caught. I think my wife at one point said that warrants will be involved and stuff like that, which I don't think I put because I really didn't want to, say anything because I don't know if that's going to be working. But I think her point was just trying to scare the people that did it, saying, hey, we know that somebody in this building stole my phone, and that if you do not return it by 2 p.m. tomorrow, the cops will figure out that it was you that stole it. So made it pretty wanted to make sure that they knew that we were serious about it. And we were also saying, hey, return it. Well, that's all we want. We just want you to return it. No cops, no questions, just return it. We'll forget all about this. So I started going, we make all 8 of the notes. I went to, and remember guys, this is like 2 a.m. This is like super late at night. I go and tape it on every single door. Every single door I'm taping this on. And like I said, this is probably like super sketchy. This is probably one person in that apartment had a Ring doorbell, right? So they're probably thinking, what the heck is this guy doing? And like I said, I don't know if that was the guy that did it, or the girl that did it with the Ring doorbell. I don't think it was. I think it was the one below it. But they're probably like looking at the Ring like, what the heck is this guy doing? Like at 2 a.m, like this is sketchy. Like I'm wearing I'll be honest guys, like I put on like my Michael Myers, shirt. It's like literally it says like you can't kill the boogeyman. Like it's him holding a bloody knife. Like I wanted to make sure to kind of put on the most kind of intimidating looking like evil shirt that I can. I'm also just like going to the Ring door because like I said, that could have been the person that stole it. So I'm going to the door looking like I want to freaking kill somebody, like just making the most like just pissed off face that like I said, sorry to cuss, but making the most pissed off face that I could possibly make to let people know, or at least if they were the ones that did it, that I'm super serious and to take it seriously. Well, like I said, that's just kind of just trying to, wear the most intimidating shirt, black shirt, just trying to let people know that, I don't know, defense mechanism. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I go and tape it on all 8 of the doors, right? So it's the next day. And so my wife and I don't hear anything from Goodwill or anything like that. And so we're deciding, so we went to church, prayed about it. That morning, my wife actually did find out that all the stuff was backed up to iCloud, which was one of the most amazing feelings that she had. And obviously I had too, because we had everything backed up. She actually does pay like monthly for the iCloud stuff and everything, so it did back up everything. So she was feeling better about the whole thing. And then we both prayed. I prayed that it would be returned, because obviously phones are expensive, you know. With everything else being so expensive, like food and gas and everything, you know, it's just kind of, you know, we got 2 kids, you know, things are expensive. And so we really didn't want to pay for an extra phone, but at the same time, she's feeling very, what's the word? At peace, knowing that if the phone wasn't returned or nothing happened, that she was at peace, and she would move on, and she would have to get a new phone and just move on with our lives. And so I was feeling the same way. I prayed in church that the phone would be returned, and that, you know, God would change the person's heart to try to do the right thing and return the phone. So after church, we go out to eat. And at this point, it's like 1:40 or something like that. So I had said to her, should we call Goodwill? And they said, no, let's do it after 2, because we said, hey, return it by 2. So at least give them a chance to do it. So we're eating, right? So we're eating, and then I think we got our meal. We had the meal for like 5 minutes, I think, something like that. And then all of a sudden, my phone rings. So my phone rings. It's starting to vibrate in my pocket. So I'm thinking, okay, that's a good sign, I'm hoping. And then so I look in, I read what it says on my phone, and it says the city that the Goodwill was in. I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, oh my gosh, it might be Goodwill. And at this point, guys, it's 2:08. 2:08. So at that point, I had something in my mouth. Told my wife, I was like, here, answer this. Like, I have something in my mouth. Like, I had like this, I was eating at the time. So she answers it, right? And then she's just like, I'm hearing yes. And then I'm hearing yes. And then her eyes just like lit up. And I'm just like, and then she's just saying like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe it. Like, what happened and stuff. And, so at that point, I knew it was Goodwill, and that the person returned the phone. The person that stole the phone returned it to Goodwill. And that was funny because they called at 2:08. Goodwill called at 2:08. So they must have returned it at 2 o'clock or something like that. So my wife gets off the phone. I said, oh my God, like, obviously, yeah, that's good news. And she said, the person, Goodwill, they returned it to Goodwill. The person said that her kid took the phone without them knowing and put it in their backpack, which we're thinking, we don't think that's true. So we're ecstatic, we're happy. So we box everything up, all the food, pay the waitress, and we head back to the Goodwill. So we're so happy. We're just praising God. We're just thankful for everything, and we're just thinking it was just so funny how it all, just the fact that they called it 2:08 and that our scary, intimidating note, I think, worked, because they're probably thinking, oh my God, because can you imagine just opening up your door and just seeing that note saying, I know that you stole my phone? And they're probably thinking, or because we were kind of joking, thinking like, what if they don't know, like, they're not tech savvy and kind of know about the Find My iPhone thing? They're probably thinking, oh my God, this person knows, how the heck do you know where I live, kind of thing. Or it could be frightening in general, just the fact that it's like, oh my God, like, the person like knows where I live. Like, they're thinking I just got away with stealing a phone, and they're like, nope, like, I know they found where I lived. So they're probably thinking, all right, I think we need to return the phone. So it was funny. We were just thinking, it was just a funny situation that they just kind of got scared by our note, just creeped out that we knew where they lived and that we meant business. So we get to the Goodwill. We talk to John, who's been working there for a long time. I know him. We see him all the time. He had said that the person's daughter that was with them, obviously, like I said, took the phone, put it in their backpack. They didn't know anything about it, which we knew was not true at all, because the kid was like 5, 7 years old. The kid would not know how to operate an iPhone, like to turn it off, turn it back on, turn it off, and everything like that. So we knew that the person that stole it was lying about the whole thing, about what happened. At that point, we get the phone back. It's the right phone. Everything's good. My wife turns on the phone, and we're in Goodwill. We're shopping, and then all of a sudden she comes up to me and says, they stole a SIM card out of it. And I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm thinking to myself as well, like, yeah, a 5, 7-year-old knows to steal the SIM card and how to poke the SIM card out with that little tool. So yeah, that's when we knew, obviously, they were lying about the whole thing. So yeah, they stole the SIM card. So now we're freaking out again because we're trying to figure out, okay, they took the SIM card. How does this work? Like I said, I'm no technology, but at the same time, I don't. So I'm thinking, all right, SIM card, like I know that's kind of like the brain of the phone for the most part. So I'm thinking, all right, if they take that, how does that work? Because I'm thinking if we still have it on lost mode, they can't do anything with it. But at the same time, we're freaking out. So we're thinking, all right, does this mean that they could access stuff? So we leave Goodwill, go over to our phone service, our phone provider, which is T-Mobile. So we go over there and tell them what happened and said that, hey, somebody stole our phone. They returned it to Goodwill, but they stole the SIM card out of it. And then they said, we're like telling them all of our like worries about everything. And they said, you don't have anything to worry about. Really what they can kind of only get is the phone number. So, but he said once I put the new SIM card in, the old SIM card should not work anymore. So we're thinking, all right, this is great. We're trying to figure out, all right, why would they take the SIM card? Obviously, are they trying to get into stuff? And at this point, we had kind of maybe assumed that maybe they took the SIM card out because maybe they were thinking that we could still track them or something like that, or they didn't want to get tracked or something like that, which I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, we know where you live. Like, we already know where you live, like, kind of thing. So I don't know why they did it. I don't know if they're trying to still access stuff or what. Didn't know, but the guy at T-Mobile was super helpful. Changed the SIM card, basically gave us a lot of peace of mind with everything, and said that they could just get they could just kind of access the phone number, but at that point it was kind of super hard as well to kind of get that stuff. But like I said, I think my wife's phone was still on lock mode at that point. So, but yeah, so we got the new SIM card. Everything was good. Got the phone back, new SIM card. Everything was good. And that's kind of the crazy personal story from Goodwill that I wanted to share. I know it's a long video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. But yeah, that's kind of the ups and downs of emotions, the crying, the sadness, the anger, the happiness, the goofiness, just everything about the whole thing was just kind of funny to us. Just the fact that our notes probably just made them realize that we meant business, that we're not joking around, like we know that you live here and you better return it kind of thing, or the cops will get involved and they will find out that it was you kind of thing. And I think it scared them, and I think it freaked them out because obviously they returned it. So obviously we're thinking if like a more intense criminal probably saw the note, they're probably thinking, yeah, whatever kind of thing. Like I'll just throw the phone away. Like, or if a cop comes, I'll just deny it. Or that could have been possible too. But in this case, you know, maybe the people just didn't really know. Maybe they were freaked out that we knew where they lived. Put a note saying we know that you took this phone. They freaked out and like, oh shoot, we need to return this phone. It all worked out. So, but yeah, it was just, the whole thing was just funny. At the end, we're just ecstatic. Blessings that we got everything back. Didn't have to pay for a new phone. Didn't have to deal with that whole mess. Didn't have to, you know, feel that somebody took something from us too. But yeah, like I said, that this story I'm sure has happened to obviously a ton of people. I know a lot of people have probably had their phone stolen, so for those people that didn't get it back, I feel just extremely bad for you. That's probably the worst feeling in the world. I know that if I just don't feel in my pocket for a second, I kind of freak out, you know? But yeah, that's kind of our crazy personal story, and that everything in the end worked out great. Just happy we got the phone back, and yeah, like I said, at that point, like I said, we tried to have a date night. Just was kind of on this adventure to try to find the phone. So the next day we tried to have more of a, you know, a date night and everything. We went out to eat. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to the story. Like I said, it wasn't the most intense story out there. There's obviously a lot more intense stories out there and stuff. But yeah, it was pretty intense for us. I'm just glad everything worked out in the end. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Just wanted to give you guys an update. I'm up to, like, I think almost 70 subscribers. So thank you guys so much for joining the Patriot Picker and liking all the videos, watching the videos and everything like that. I appreciate all you guys doing that. Once we hit 100, then it'll be looking forward towards 1,000, 2,000 and up. So y'all gotta start somewhere, right? Y'all gotta start somewhere. Like I said, I'm trying to make my channel a little unique when it comes to reselling. I want to have kind of a mixture of kind of not just things that are just business and business only. I want to kind of have fun with it. Like I said, everything's been kind of busy lately, just with life and trying to make extra money, and got 2 kids. So a lot of the stuff I can kind of get done sometimes in the morning, but like I said, right now it's like 3 in the morning. I'm recording this at like 3 in the morning. So this is kind of like when everyone's asleep. I have a little bit more time to kind of figure things out. So but yeah, I'm so glad that you guys were able to watch this. If you like this content, if you like thrifting vlogs and other stuff that have to do with reselling, subscribe to the Patriot Picker, like the video so other people could see it. So and it helps the YouTube algorithm. So thank you guys so much for watching. Can't wait for this to get online. So I'll see you guys later. Catch you later. Bye.